Welcome all far and wide to Ruining Your Faves. Today, we're going to be continuing our conversation of hip-hop artist Cardi B and her latest album, Invasion of Privacy. So the good news is this is our second to last video on this topic of Cardi B, and then we're moving on to something else. The songs that we're looking at today are Get Up 10 and Best Life, which were ranked as some of the top tracks on Cardi B's album. Fun facts, to this day, I still have a problem getting up at 10 o'clock, and until then, I'm a zombie. Also, my best life would consist of me having this as a full-time occupation to teach you all about media. Let's make that happen. So in the songs Get Up 10 and Best Life, there's a central theme of Cardi B's occupation as a stripper. For those of you who don't know, Cardi B used to be a stripper before she became a famous hip-hop artist. She makes note of this in Best Life in a slight line and in Get Up 10 in more detail. And is it just me, or does it seem like stripping is more acceptable in today's society? I mean, you have hip-hop artists that talk about it, and it's even crossed over into R&B as well. Still though, there is a stigma that's associated with stripping or being a stripper, and a lot of this has to do with the atmosphere of strip clubs or exotic dance areas. Some strip clubs are known as performative sex work spaces, and for those of you who might not know what that is, you might think prostitution. But in some spaces, there are strippers that just perform, whereas in other spaces, you have strippers that both perform and do sex acts. Then you have the issue of drug use. A professor named Melissa Lavin actually looked at this and found that in strip clubs, there's a higher opportunity to use drugs. And then obviously it's important to note that when you are an exotic dancer or a stripper, your job is to sell sex. So you're making yourself look attractive to the customer because you want to get more money or you want to be better recognized. And in some cases, strippers might go as far as to make people feel like they are sexually available. However, in her song Get Up 10, Cardi B explicitly stated that she did not sleep with any of her customers. Still though, the stigma follows her. I actually got the idea to look at how strippers, specifically female strippers, cope with these stereotypes or the stigma that is associated with stripping. In my research, what I found is there are 3 ways of coping that strippers can use. One is setting personal rules, the second is othering, and the third is performing under a different persona. Setting personal rules consists of saying what you will or will not do in order to entice a customer. For example, you have some strippers who will only go topless, while other strippers will go topless and bottomless. And then you have some strippers who will tease customers, while others will go ahead and touch customers. Second, there's othering. So othering consists of strippers saying, I'm not like any of these other strippers out here, and in a sense, they differentiate themselves. Some strippers might go the extra mile and might sleep with customers in order to get extra money. This is in contrast to the stripper who says, oh, that's the other person. And they might say, nah, I would never go that far to get money. However, this is a problematic manner of thinking because strippers are now pitted against each other, and you have one group of strippers looking down on another group of strippers, and they all are within the same box. So you have pretty much people marginalizing one another within the profession, and the profession itself is already marginalized. Let me run that back. Say I am a stripper. Don't judge me. And I'm looking down on other strippers because they're deciding to have sex for money. But we're all strippers, we're all in the same boat. And I become like the people who aren't in the profession of stripping, and I look down on strippers thinking that they're having sex for money. I hope that made sense because I tried to explain it the best I could. And then there's developing another persona or a dancer persona. Some people think of stripping as just an act, like I'm just an actor or an actress in a play. But as we've seen with Daniel Radcliffe, aka Harry Potter, it's hard sometimes to differentiate between the actor and the act. All in all, developing personal boundaries or coping mechanisms while stripping can fade over time. The longer somebody strips, the more likely they are to give in to certain pressures. So you might have someone who says, I'm not going to sleep with anyone, but later on, they end up doing it because they can make more money. This in turn can lead to a disdain for society or a dislike of men. Or a dislike of women too. We gotta be equal opportunity. On the flip side, those strippers who maintain their personal boundaries or coping mechanisms might take this and apply it to other aspects of life. For example, somebody who learns how to say no in the strip club might learn how to say no to unwanted advances outside of the strip club. And there you have it, our second to last video on hip-hop artist Cardi B. So if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. Thank you for watching.
Chemistry Productions.